Dude, I just realized the most humbling thing that I do every day. Take vitamins because your girl's been taking pills for about 41 years now, and I still suck at it.
Elle, they got the dissolvable ones now. It's 2024.
No, they don't. Not in all of these supplements. As we say hello and welcome to the Elle Duncan Show with Gary Streisky. I'm telling you, dude, like it
Oh,
doesn't
brother.
matter how long I've been taking pills, how much experience I have. Like every time I take a pill, I choke. I put the pill in, I take the water, and I like Omar can always
Okay.
tell when I'm taking medicine because I'm choking and spilling water all over the floor. And you're taught as a former athlete, I am a former athlete, and
That's
you
right.
were
We've
taught,
established that.
Gary, that if you put in the hard work, if you practice, if you work really hard, you will eventually get better. You will progress in your journey towards whatever athletic feat. And I have never gotten better at taking pills. I don't know what I've done, all the tricks and the whatevers, and I just don't get it.
So the esophageal skills still have yet to develop, huh? Let me ask you this. Maybe we can sort of peel this back and look at the root cause. What vitamins here are you struggling with? Because I take a biotin pill every morning and it is dissolvable. I just put it right under the
Ah,
tongue. And it just gives me a little sweet little tickle. And then I take a vitamin D3 pill and it's less than the size of a Tic Tac, L. So I'm
I do
concerned
take
with
D3, and that
yes.
one's fine because it is very
Okay.
little. And I do have dissolvable B12, but I'm talking
Okay.
about magnesium.
hmm
Those are
Fish
big
oil.
pills.
The fish
Fish
oils are the
oil,
big boys.
yes, they're huge.
That's the big
Berberine,
boy.
I take. And the thing is that I have to take multiple of them at the same time. So in order to not be sitting there taking vitamins for 10 minutes, I take a couple at a time. And
Just pop a handful.
it's bad. It's pretty tough. Speaking of choking, how about those Knicks?
Oh, you are an industry professional. Let's not blow past, all right, what happened before that, you holding things down in Shy City, and creating a bit of a social media storm, L, leading to some leading to some talk of some coercion.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is so
If you're
hilarious to
not
me.
watching, I'm using air quotes from the person who hosted the draft lottery from Atlanta and L, who
Yeah.
won the number one overall pick in this
Yeah.
June's NBA draft.
Atlanta. Bruh, it was so bananas. So let me address this really quickly because this is first of all, it's just laughable anyone that actually takes it seriously. And let me tell you, if there were NBA script writers and if there were someone, in the back like scheming this whole thing out and laying out this whole plan and doing some storytelling, do you think they would do it surrounding a mid-level team like the Hawks? Like, y'all shut up. I'm not from LA. It's not like I'm from New York. Like Atlanta, the Hawks, you think that they're going to ruin the integrity of the sport for the Hawks? Shut your face. I will say this, okay?
It's a big
Because when you
market.
do this, this is my first, it's not considered a big market in the NBA. It's not by NBA
Really?
terms, right? No, it's not. It's not. It would be on one, you would consider the Hawks, Atlanta, in basketball, not in the media landscape. Of course, Atlanta is a top 10 market. But in terms of the Atlanta Hawks in the NBA, no, I think that you would consider them, at least when I used to work for them, because it was my first job in sports, was being their in arena sideline reporter. And they were not considered a high market team. They're not. They're the Hawks. They never won a championship. Like, stop. And so while they're of the culture and they're entertaining because the city of Atlanta, they're not considered a team that you would like blow the whole check for. Like you would not
You don't
ruin
think
the
they're a top 10
integrity.
market?
No, in the NBA, I don't think
Yeah,
so.
let's just real quick, just as an exercise, because we got some time here. Let's run through the top 10 NBA markets just because.
Okay, LA,
Lakers,
New York,
New York, Boston,
Boston,
Philly,
Detroit.
Detroit over Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, it's Detroit basketball. They won championships before. Like, it's Detroit. When you talk about the pantheons of basketball, the history and
Okay,
whatnot, you don't
okay,
think that
okay,
Detroit
okay,
has a bigger legacy than Atlanta?
okay.
I
So I'll
really
get.
hate, by the way, that you're making me besmirch my team after what I
I
just did for
I
them.
know this was a long con. Philly. Okay, I'll give you Detroit. Okay, Mr.
Okay.
Big Shot, Ben Wallace, Chicago. Okay, that's six. Are we throwing Brooklyn in there just because it is a borough?
No, I don't think that Brooklyn
No.
is higher than
Are we
Atlanta.
throwing the Miami Heat in there? This would be
Sure,
7.
they've been in
Okay.
the finals a couple of times. I mean, again, I think that Denver,
Oh,
despite the
the
fact being
Warriors.
champions, the Warriors
Warriors
are in there. There you go.
going Denver over Atlanta, and then let's get
They've
one
got
more.
championships. What
Let's
I'm
go one
saying
more.
is, of all the teams, Gary, what I'm saying is, of all the teams in the league, you think that they are stacking the decks for Atlanta? Like, y'all, please stop it. Please stop. Now, the thing is, this is my first time hosting the NBA draft lottery. And what you do
Okay.
is because there's so many contingencies, at least this year there were, right? Like, if this pick falls out of the top 6, that means this person retains, or it automatically means that this person jumps into the top 4 because they wouldn't have had to lose that pick if not. There's just like so many contingencies. So you do a ton of rehearsing. Like, we probably rehearsed this thing 12 times, and there was some that were chalk and some where there was double jumps, and there was just all these different things that we laid out. And one of the rehearsals had Atlanta winning. And I just laughed and was like, man, if Atlanta won this thing with like a 2% chance to win it, that would be so incredible, especially this year because I'm the one hosting it. And then it happens and everyone's just dying laughing. I go up to Landry Fields and I was like, you are welcome, sir.
Yeah,
But it
for
was just
real.
really, it was so ironic. And I'll tell you this, like, from a non-jokey perspective, because I think it's hilarious and fun that people think I had anything to do with it. I wish I had that kind of power. I was really missing my kids yesterday because I had to work on Mother's Day, and that was such a bummer. Truly, it was a bummer. Like, they were sad, I was sad. And I felt like that was God's little like wink and nod to me that like the first time I host the lottery is the first time Atlanta ever wins the lottery
Let's
in
go.
franchise history. And it was like, you know what? Yeah, you couldn't be with your kids, but nice way to spend your Mother's Day watching your team make a little bit of history while you were hosting for the first time, too. So I looked at it more like that and how fun and crazy and coincidental that was. Of course, some of the nerdos on the internet are like, it's rigged. I'm like, you're right. Not only does the NBA love me so much that they would rig this for me, they also love the Atlanta Hawks so much that
Yeah.
they would rig it for them. True. This feels definitely like a real true story, guys.
Jackson just put in the comments the Hawks 18th in valuation, according to Forbes. So, okay, you nailed it. Oh, listen, I'm just saying you stoked the flames by literally announcing it. Be like, oh, and what do you know?
I was
Elle
like, let's
Duncan
go. Well,
from
all I asked
Atlanta.
for was a City Connect jersey.
Yeah, hey, I have a feeling you're going to get one. But again, this is a sports adjacent podcast because you have been quite the Rolling Stone. You were in Chicago on Mother's Day,
Mm-hmm.
Xander and Eva, obviously missing you. But I saw what them and Omar got you for Mother's Day. That was a dope sweatshirt. But then
Thanks.
to bookend that, you're in Brooklyn for the ESPN Women's Summit and the Elle Duncan Show. We were mobile, and that was actually an awesome freaking time, Elle.
It really
So
was.
I'm glad to see that you're at home, able to see your husband, able to see your kids.
Just for
But
a couple of hours.
yeah, I know.
I'm heading right back to New York.
For real, what's the last freaking 72 hours been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot that's been going on, obviously, but it's all cool things and the ability to connect. I've never really worked on an NBA studio or a live event, so that was really cool. Getting to meet some of the NBA folks and work on that side of the. People don't understand when you work at ESPN, everybody works in their own groups. So there's
Everybody's siloed off.
right? It's a side. There's so many silos. So it was my first time working with that producer, and it was really cool to be able to sort of, work in that space. Now I'm off to New York to go do upfronts, which is basically like a
Oh,
big
that's right.
presentation, right? That Disney does to try to sell advertisers and all these things that we've got coming up. And so yeah, it's gonna be a crazy few hours, but I was hoping that I'd be able to find some time to go to the Knicks game. That's not going to happen. Certainly not now that they are mad. They are big fighting
Yes,
mad.
correct.
As we talk a little bit about the NBA and the games that we saw happen last night, it's always so interesting too. Thank goodness for YouTube TV. I like watch the games while I'm, walking through O'Hare or sitting at the restaurant or
Hmm.
whatever, and have the ability to see some of these games. But man, the Knicks, man. I mean, is this one of those games they got at one point they were getting beat by like 42 points? Is this one of those games where you just sort of chalk it up to we were due an egg, we're going to throw this guy away, we're not even going to watch the tape because it was just so anomalous and we're going to move on? Or do you think it's an indicator of things to come? Because honestly, the Pacers the last couple of games have sort of looked like they've figured out the way that they want to approach
Hmm.
playing the Knicks, and that's just wear Jalen Brunson down. He's already
Correct.
hurt. I thought there were some really good metrics too, just about like how slow he's starting to look and how much he's starting
Mhm.
to get tired. In the 2 games in Indiana, he missed 10 jumpers. All of them were short. And then per second spectrum, which I can't believe even tracks these kinds of things, he was jumping 2.5 inches lower on his shots in the last 2 games than his season long average. So the guy's he's John Coffey, man. I's tired, boss. Like he is
Oh my
tired.
God. Okay, so but what we can't confirm and what I'm reading between the lines, so you're saying he's jumping 2.5 inches less. So 2.5 inches,
A lot.
that's a substantial amount, two and a half
Right.
inches. All
Yeah.
right, fellas, listen, hey, two and a
Oh
half inches.
God.
That
Okay. Gary,
is
God.
I'm just saying, wait, whoa, what are you inferring? I'm just saying 2.5 inches, that is a substantial amount. Let me say this. We did have Adrian Wojnarowski joining SportsCenter. He was obviously in Chicago with you, and that's exactly how he described what we were about to see ahead of Game 4 was that Jalen Brunson is tired. This man is playing 31 minutes, coming off of 38 minutes in Game 3, that being a loss, and having their two-way guy in OG Anunoby hurt with the hamstring that absolutely kills him because everybody knows Tom Thibodeau loves playing his guys hard. He likes
Mhm.
playing them tough, long minutes, and they don't have a bench. Obviously, Tibbs had to throw in some kind of rotation, and I'm counting 6 bench players getting nearly all double-digit minutes, but the Knicks don't have the depth. The Pacers, they got the depth, they got the legs, and
Mhm.
now they flipped home court advantage. This is a scary team.
Yeah, this is a really scary team, especially like I always go back to what my guy Ryan Rucco always says they're going to regress to the mean. I mean, they shot 57% in that game, the Pacers did. So even if they regress to the mean a little bit, but still, it's just that the Knicks look a step too slow. And I don't
Uh-huh.
discount anything Jalen Brunson can do because he literally steps up in the biggest moments. And I certainly
Correct.
believe that like they're going to fight back and game 5 is going to be pretty interesting. But it just feels like in this whole, using the adage of it's a marathon and not a sprint, it feels like the Knicks sprinted out similar to the Timberwolves,
Correct.
right? And then the other team sort of settled in
Mhm.
and was like, I will just wear you down. We've got more depth than you do. Eventually, the playoffs, the first round, all of these things are going to eventually catch up to you. And we're certainly seeing that with the Knicks. It's really interesting if they're going to be able to put that together when he can't play to the speed that he likes to play at. That is a disadvantage to someone like a Jalen Brunson. But the Nuggets, bruh. No, wait, real quick. Do you claim the Nuggets? Because I know you're
Yes.
usually a no, you don't. Because you're
Well,
always
it's a
Celtics till you die. Don't you
whoa, whoa, whoa,
dare.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Don't you
Why?
dare. I don't
Let
see any posts from Nuggets game in your Nugget jersey.
let me say this, okay? I have answers to all of these, not even questions, accusations, because you asked me a question and I answered, and then you just shot it down immediately. L. Okay, first of all, the Nuggets always play too late. Okay, I'm old. As a fellow old yourself, you know you ain't staying up for no 10 o'clock Eastern
No,
time tip. You
no.
can kick rocks with that all day, and it's a sliding scale for me. L. I've established this on this very show that I don't think the place that you are born forces you to all of a sudden be forced to like that team. I do like the Nuggets, but I also spent a lot of time in Boston. So I feel like I can have an Eastern Conference bow and a Western Conference bow. So if the Celtics and the Nuggets meet in the NBA Finals, that's your boys that's your boys dream come true right there. All right? So I do like the Nuggets. I was scared out of the gates those first 2 games where the Timberwolves literally were not affected by Denver's altitude whatsoever. And that's because
Yeah,
they got Michael Jordan reincarnated
yeah.
on that team. But in these last 2 games, oh, the Nuggets remembered they have the 3-time MVP and Nikola Jokic holding things down for them. So I think, and I called this series when it first got shaped up that I think this is going to go 7. And now after the Nuggets even the series 2 games apiece, it's a best of 3. And I think it is going to go the distance.
I think so too. I mean, it was funny too. Nikola Jokic was so tired yesterday at the post game. He's like, and now it's best of two, three, two. It's three.
he sounds
It's
a,
the
he,
he's like, he needs the win too. I know. I don't know. I don't you
he
know what
sounds
is
an
crazy?
awful lot like what?
Like Count Chocula.
Yeah, or the guy from Despicable Me. What's his
Oh,
name? What's his name?
Groot. Or not Groot. Oh God, what's it?
That's what I
Gru.
was thinking. Gru.
Gru.
I was
Gru.
thinking Gru, but I was like, no,
Yeah.
that's the tree.
I really did. I mean, of course, he is always accused of being Gru, which I love that he's leaned into too. He's dressing like him. It's like a whole thing, and I love
Correct.
that for him. But yeah, so we've got evened up series. This is always a situation too where I'm like, man, we've got these 2 fantastic series. Wait, what are the other ones? Oh, right. The Celtics and Cavs.
Correct.
And
Correct.
of course, the Mavs and the fill in the blank, Gary.
Oh, that guy who also actually the second and third first place vote getters in the MVP and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Luka Doncic. Oh,
Sure, sure,
those
sure.
guys? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, them. They also have a whole series that's going on
Correct.
as
A whole
well.
ass series.
Yeah. And it's going particularly well for the.
Exactly. Basketball fan because this series, AL, because this series will also go 7 games because this series is also tied 2 games apiece.
Yes, we love
I'm a hoop head.
Google.
I'm a hoop head. I'm a hoop head.
You're such a hooper. We're actually getting ready for more hoops, if you will, because the WNBA season is starting. I'm really excited. It was released on a press release that I will be joining the WNBA countdown desk. That's going to be cool. I'll be doing a few games on ABC with Andrea Carter, and Shanae Ogumake. By the way,
Yo,
going back to the W
they
Summit, you
were
killed, man.
they were a good time. They are
Yeah.
fun. I'm almost kind of like, how can I get on the countdown and the game day desk with Elle,
Yeah.
Shanae,
Yeah.
and Andrea? No, they were a great time. I mean, obviously watching it and obviously knowing you guys as friends as well as colleagues. I understand why it's so fun to the viewer and being able to see that and feel that energy even through a TV screen. But obviously sharing a stage with you three and then just feeling the energy between you and the way that the people in the stands and the all of the women there for the summit were sort of feeding off the energy. That was cool. That was a fun hour and a half or however long that show ended up going.
Your sports is showing. You said the fans in the stands. We were in like a conference
I
room. It
know.
was
I
just
know.
tables,
Well,
Gary. They were just
why?
sitting in chairs.
Well, I didn't want to say paid attendees because then it sounds like we're paying for friends.
No,
Damn.
they were all just at conference tables. No,
Yeah.
they were sitting at round tables. An excellent event put on by ESPN, who just top top class world class events, like top of the line, amazing. I mean, my room had a
Uh,
hammock in it. I was like, this is obscene. I will not
okay.
have time to do anything in this hammock because I'm working, but I appreciate
Was it
that my
the
room had a hammock.
at the one hotel?
Yeah, at the one
That's that
hotel. It
where it
was
was
great.
at. And then all of a sudden the hair and makeup situation was at the very top in the presidential suite. And Elle, as you know, it's no secret. I'm a big fan of Ed Sheeran, and he just so happened to be in New York ahead of the Met Gala, and he stayed at the one hotel, and he stayed, we can only assume, is the presidential suite literally the night before ESPN took over. So did I walk around the hotel suite looking for little red hairs, okay, or longer red hairs to be like,
Yeah.
this might be Ed Sheeran's? Did I? I don't know. Depends on who you ask.
Did Gary pull a salt burn? And if you've seen it, you know what I mean, to the
Ooh,
bathtub.
I don't know if I want to know what that means.
You do not. You do not. I'm just going to leave it there. Just let
Okay.
Gary know
Okay.
on Twitter. If you're listening to this, let him know on Twitter or any of his socials. Just say, yes, you did a salt burn, or no, you didn't do a salt burn. And
Oh.
I just want to see how many of you have seen this movie. And if you have seen this movie, you know that Gary 100% pulled a salt burn
I don't know
to
if I
Ed
like that
Sheeran's bathtub. So I'm just
because
going to leave it
the
there.
producer Sarah just hit us with an all caps aha, and then Jackson just hit us with a oh my god ha
Yeah.
ha ha.
It's not
So I'm
great, but it
I'm
is
not too
very on
sure.
par with your fandom. So I'm gonna just,
Ah,
yeah,
and then
they're saying,
Christina,
Gary, you
you
don't
don't
want to
want to
know.
know. Okay,
You
good
do
to
not.
know. Good to
You
know.
do
All right,
not.
I won't. Next
Yep.
topic.
Okay, perfect. we we love that. I was really struck as we sort of think about people that do bad at their job, since I was thrown up there for the lottery. I did a great job, by the way. All right. I really set the table. I showed you what a big deal it was. It was
That's right.
completely improbable. And my favorite thing is like people on social media being like, what happened to real journalists? I'm like, I never accused myself of being a real journalist. Who said that?
Yeah, who's doing that?
You can't hold me to that standard. I don't ever claim to be that. I am
Yeah,
a
no, hell no.
no, I am an entertainer who loves to set a great table and 100% take credit for things I had nothing to do with. That's called ego. That's not cheating, you
That's
dummies.
right.
But I love watching videos of people that just in a major way malfunction and fuck up. Did you see the fight with the announcer where he 100% said the wrong person's name?
No.
Oh my God, it's amazing. Okay.
And still, the WBA Women's Bantamweight World Champion, Nina Hughes.
And Nina Hughes remains undefeated, 7-0 with 2 knockouts, winning pretty wide on one of really wide, 98-92. I didn't see that coming. On one scorecard, 96-94 for Hughes, and the other judge 95-95. A draw. We definitely thought it was a close fight. It was reflected on 2 of the 3 scorecards, but Hughes remains champion.
Judge Oliveira scores the competition 95-95.
Wow.
Keeley scores the competition
He made a mistake.
94. Nakamura 98-92 for your winner by majority. Fighting out of the blue corner.
Oh, he made a mistake.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
He made an
I
epic
have never
mistake.
seen that before.
Oh my Lord.
I have never seen that before. That's incredible. Wow.
Wow.
And there it is, Gary. Wow.
That's
Your
so,
face is-
what do you do?
Yeah. Well, he just kept talking. I think that was the most bizarre
He
part.
doubled down.
He wasn't like, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so sorry. Like Steve Harvey at least was like, you know, contritious. Like he was like, oh no, you know what I mean? Like this guy was just like, I'm going to start reading it again and hope that you don't remember that I just did this 30 seconds ago.
You got to get louder. All right. You have to blow through every single piece of punctuation as if it were to say, like, here's what the first person did, but the second person did it better. Wow, that's bad.
Isn't that horrible?
That's so embarrassing. You can't come back from that, but he has to. It's his job.
It really is.
Well,
And then
at
of
least
course,
for now.
the lady Nina Hughes, who was originally the one that got the dub, she was like, I've been robbed. And that's how she felt. Did you ever feel like you got robbed by something that you won? Yeah. Did you ever feel like you like had won something, you had something in hand, and then you ultimately ended up losing?
So Elle famously, what I thought that I had until it was literally ripped out from beneath my uncalloused hands was the real world situation a couple of months ago that I actually told on this very show. They made me sign the contract. I had to take a Wonderlic test. I had to take an STD test, which was weird. I was like, virgins got to take this test. So anyway, that was
30-year-old version.
Yeah, famously, I think I was 20-something at the time, famously documented right here on this show. But I did think I had, oh, Christina laughed at that one. That hurts. Okay, that hurts. I was trying to stay
She's
pure.
like, I knew it.
But
I knew it.
But I also thought I had a job at MLB Network. This was between Nesson and ESPN. They flew me out there. They needed a studio analyst. And I thought I had the job. It was Dan O'Dowd. He was the analyst I was working with. He was like, I'm going to go into these offices and tell them that they need to hire you. He was like, you did such an excellent job. And I was like, dude, I got this in the bag. All right. The other co-hosts that I was with were like, man, we all love your work from Nesson. And then just crickets, nothing. So then I would follow up, and you know how it is, like when you're in that weird gray area following up with an employer or whatever, like you don't want to come off as overly anxious. You don't want to come off as annoying, but like you're trying to, that's the word I was looking for, but didn't want to say. And they just kept stringing me along. And then they never even told me I didn't get the job until I saw a fellow Eastern Asian gentleman, okay, introduced on the network. And I was like, damn. They hired Steven Nelson instead of me. He and I have become friends since then. But then a month later, ESPN hit me up. So everything worked out for the better.
MLB was like, we didn't think that we needed to let you know that you didn't get the job. We thought the restraining order we took out against you was enough, but that's cool, Gary. Yeah, sure. No, I guess we should have called you too. What?
But
in
I
this
just like
industry,
confirmation.
Yeah. So are you saying you don't want me around as he stands there in handcuffs on the back of a police car?
I need you to put this in a letter.
So in this industry, yeah, all the time. There's always times like, because even before I got into television, I was an actress or wanted to be. I was a wannabe actress. I would audition for things and I would feel like I nailed it. You come out of there and you're like, I slayed. Oh my God. You'd get a call back, a second call back. Once you get like second callbacks, it's like, oh, it's between me and a couple of other people, right? Like second and
Correct.
third callbacks, typically like you have been narrowed to a selective group.
Yes.
I would always get to that point and then never ever get the job. I had one guy who flat out like it was actually kind of dope because there was no wondering. Like I did a little bit of an audition. This is at Fox Sports South in Atlanta. It doesn't exist anymore, but it did at the time. And I went in for like a meeting and an audition. And the guy basically like before I even auditioned was like, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. You really don't have any experience. I'm not going to give you this job. But thank you so much for coming in and taking a tour around. I hope you like the kitchen. I hope you like the look of it. You're not getting this job. I was like, sweet. I did not waste my time. I walked out of there and knew that I would not be working at Fox Sports South. So that was cool. But yeah, all
he
the
saved
time.
you so much grief.
Yeah.
Oh, he saved you so much wondering.
Did
I
he?
wish they would have
Yeah.
told me that at MLB. Hey, and now look at you, Elle. So you didn't get that job and you didn't book some of those acting jobs, but now you got more jobs than you can handle.
I know.
Now at ESPN, girl. I'm telling you, if you took an extended vacation and Laura Rutledge took an extended vacation, they would have to put color bars on ESPN. No, I'm not kidding. For real. Like if y'all both just decided to both have babies at the same exact time and go on maternity leave, see you later, bye. We're gonna have to fill big time.
There'd be a lot. Yeah, there'd be a lot of programming to fill.
You got 18 different jobs now.
Yeah,
Damn.
Laura Rutledge works a ton. I admire her so much. She's such a good friend and an amazing person and works all the time. And I think in this industry, like we all work a lot. We truly do. She's the only one I know that works sort of in the same way that I do, that has two little kids that are also like little like mine. So we definitely lean on each other in that way. I find her to be such a source of inspiration. And that doesn't always mean that, we handle it well. Sometimes me and her, are both crying in the makeup room, but she's just like, she's just so amazing and like just a really special person. And that girl works all the time. I mean, she works at a furious pace all the time. Mine comes and goes and is in waves. This has been sort of like a furiously paced year, but no, it's all like really great things and blessings. And I, as we end the podcast, I want to like go there for one quick second and just remind all the parents out there, the mothers out there that spent Mother's Day either with their kids or not with their kids or in strained relationship with their kids or whatever that looks like. I want you to know that it is okay to bitch and complain sometimes. Like, I think that so many times, when you sort of orchestrate or design this life that you want, whether it be having kids, having a family, having a really great career that you're fulfilled by, there's this idea that you are, you're being ungrateful or that you are sort of essentially, smacking your blessings and gifts in the face and being disrespectful when you complain or when you are sad or when you talk about the trials and tribulations that come along with it, because they do. And of course, no one's crying for me. I get to go do like sports for a living and you shouldn't cry for me, but you also should not and should also hold some space for me. And that like yesterday being away from my kids was hard, and it is tough sometimes to look at my kid like I have been the last 2 weeks and say like, well, I'm just going to be gone for a couple more days and I'll be home for a day. And then but I promise like, I'll be around in a month or so, like that is difficult and tough. And all of us have these crosses that we bear. And all of us have, I certainly come from such a place of privilege that I work this hard and I'm able to work this hard because I have the resources, because I have the money to pay a nanny, that, my husband can be around, that my parents can move here and help. Like I have all of those resources, but I just don't want anybody that's listening to feel like just because you are complaining or you have a down side or you're being a little negative or sometimes you're self-wallowing, all those things are okay so long as you pull yourself out. There's nothing wrong with that. And I don't think it means that you don't appreciate so much this amazing life that you've been given. It just means that sometimes it sucks too. And that is okay. This is a safe space for bitching. If you ever want to come, sit next to me and bitch, because I will understand without all the pre-qualifiers. Of course you love your children and still sometimes it's hard. Of course you love your job and still sometimes you don't want to go to it. Of course you love your spouse and sometimes you still want to slap them across the face. Like all of these things can be true and exist in the same exact space. So just remember that, give yourself some grace, be good to yourself, and don't torture and torment yourself by complaining and then going, oh my God, but like, I feel like such an asshole because I have such a wonderful life. Yeah, but that's okay. I do this to myself, the torment, the self-torment of feeling, like I'm disrespecting this beautiful life by being upset when I have to leave or when I have to do these things. And I just think it's it's not healthy. And in Mental Health Awareness Month, I don't believe that it's an accident that Mother's Day and Mental Health Awareness Month are in the same month. Be good to yourself and be kind to yourself, and don't negative self-talk yourself. But if you need to complain, like, do it, and then perspective yourself and move on.
Correct. 8 years down is what you just celebrated, Elle, at ESPN. I'm sure that you probably wouldn't change much from year 1 to year 8 from where you started to where you are at. So hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I commented it on your Instagram. Elle Duncan stock been on a rocket ship since year 1.
You're the best, Gary.
I'm just hanging on for the ride, Elle.
That's not true. You would be, well, to go back to Groot, you would be Rocket. I would be Star-Lord, the person that wants to be in charge, even though he's not really in charge. And you're Rocket, man. You're the brains. You've got some weird deformities, but like nothing's happening without you, Rocket.
Hey, and with that, that's a podcast.